Alrighty, welcome to another video in a series of tutorials on how to speedrun Splatoon 2. These are meant for players who have a little bit of experience playing Splatoon 2 already, but are looking to get into the speedrunning community and maybe are just in need of a guide of how to run through individual levels in order to get a better sense of the route and, basically a quick start into running. So I'm going through every level, showing you what I got. This assumes that you have some basic knowledge of how to move your squid. Okay, so we are in level 3 right now. The first thing that you're going to want to do is have the dualies. Dualies. The first thing you want is to throw a curler towards the first zipper there. Now somewhere about around this point, you can start thinking about doing 2 dualie rolls. The idea is that you want to end up on the zipper. When you hit the zipper, part of your momentum that you had before being on the zipper, or dash track, I guess is what they call them. Let's start calling them dash tracks. Will be carried over. Part of your momentum will be carried over. So when you approach the dash track, you, as much as possible, want to hit it at a you want to go parallel to the zipping direction, because if you go too far off to the side, your line will be off as well. So you're swimming up, boop boop, that kind of idea. So come through and you're on to the next section. So mid-air here you want to be inking, so that by the time you hit the ground you're ready and good to go. It'll look like this, like a boop boop, and then like that. So you'll notice that the ink is on both levels of these steps. Bearing in mind the analogy that I always use of thinking about running Splatoon like it's a race car game. You're trying to get the track you get more, you want to make the track as short as possible. So by doing that, you want to take a straight line right up these steps so that you have as little horizontal movement as possible, so that all your momentum is carrying you directly forward. So the idea is, if you're coming around like this and you're going in a sort of swerving motion up the stairs, you're actually taking a longer time to progress through the track, because the distance is greater, right? So instead, you want to do something like this: hop, hop, and then when you're in midair, you can ink the next 2 steps. Hop, oops. Well, I mean, normally you'd be going fast and you wouldn't be getting shot by these guys. Then hop, hop, and that brings you to there. So that whole section together will kind of look something like this. You go hop, hop, with midair with an ink, hop, hop. And you see there's very little horizontal displacement there. So from here, you want to send a curler up the ramp, just like so. All right, so you're onto the rail. You can do an early dualie roll to get you off the rail sooner and onto the dash track earlier. From here on in, it's just a little bit of shooty shooty, jumpy jumpy, shooty shooty, jumpy jumpy, and then around this corner and you're here. So as always, whenever you can do a dualie roll, you should, because they're very fast. The downside of doing a dualie roll is that after you've finished doing it, you're stuck in place, okay? Which normally would be slow, but so anytime you can do a dualie roll, that'll land you in a position that'll send you further forward, you want to do one. These bulbs that start off the rails are a perfect example, right? Because then you don't get any of the downsides of the end lag from the end of the dualie roll. So once you hit this checkpoint, you're going to jump off the rail and you're going to do another dualie roll. This is going to send you over there. So if you arrived at a good place in the cycles, if you're going quickly, this will be out of your way, and then you can move on to this section. So there's a really small skip here where you're going to ink this wall and then do a jump. Whee! All right, and then it's the same thing here. Again, the race car track analogy, the shorter the track, the faster you'll go. So then the next little trick is here. You want to swim and jump there, and then swim, or rather just jump there, and then get shot in midair. Not like that. Normally, this guy wouldn't be able to hit you because he'd be going fast. But to put it all together, like that, and like that. So one thing that's worthwhile noting for this jump here is that you can jump from the ink a lot later than the character animation might lead you to believe. When the squid is actually somewhat in midair, you can still jump. So you can jump quite late. So if you're going just by looks at all, looks exclusively, it might be a little bit misleading. But if we look at this closely a few times, you can see that my squid is actually jumping after the animation, the character has left the platform. So that's a key to getting this jump, is just knowing that you can jump probably a little later than it would first occur to you. All right? Okay. So then once you've made that jump, you're on to the next section of this run, which is here. Throw a curler down there, and then through you go. You don't have to worry about those guys as I just showed you. Just do a dually roll and you'll plow right through. So coming up to this section. So I find the fastest way to ink this section is to ink from the bottom and then ink from the top. You want to go into wave motion to minimize the amount of actual time you're putting into inking, because we're going to have to go up a wall that's beyond this. So like that, and then like that. And then, again, you want to make sure that you don't jump off the top of this platform too high, like in other platforms. You don't want to do that, because that's slow. You want to do something like this. And then you throw down a curler, and you're off to the races. So here we're going to be on a rail, so I can only do this once for you. But it's straightforward. Go down the rail, do 2 dually rolls forward, and then shoot to ink this wall after breaking those crates. Okay, so here we're going to swim forward and jump to this dash track, and then do a dually roll onto the dash track to fling us forward. Like so. Okay? Get these guys out of the way, just the demonstration. So this is another situation like the late jump that we discussed before. In order to make this jump, you're probably going to have to press the jump button later than it might first appear was sensible if you were just going by the visuals. Like so. And then you'll land it. This might take you a little while to get. It took me a while. If it doesn't take you a while, you're a better Splatoon player than me. So congrats. This is sort of like the walk of shame way of doing it. It happens. I haven't failed one of those in a long time, but I'm sure I'm going to fail it in my next run. Yeah, so you just run and jump, and you're there. So then you'll just do another kid jump there, and you can dually from there and then dually to there. I find doing a dually roll on the first and last dash track is the safest. Because depending upon the degree angle you hit the second dash track, it can send you in weird directions, and you can miss that last dash track, which is tragic. So you wind up here, you want to break these crates, come up this ledge, and then you're here through the gauntlet. At this point in the run, you want to switch to the splat bombs, because we're going to be throwing a splat bomb at the zapfish right at the very end of the level. Okay, so you can do a dually roll onto these to speed you up, throw your bomb, and then do a dually roll into the zapfish, and that's more or less how you run that part of the level. And that is